Is it this chair? Yep. So I am a little early. I wanted to start a little early because I know it's Thursday night. Thursday night football is on. I like watching football too. So I have a lot to cover. I hope everyone has had a wonderful week. This may be some of your Fridays. Some of you may be experiencing a Friday today because school is out. How many of you knew that Fulton County schools are out tomorrow? Some of them, I don't know all of the schedules. I know that each school chooses a different time or different schedule, but tomorrow and Friday, I know my son's school is out. Hey, Pamela, good. I was about to say good morning, Pamela. Oh, long day. Hey, Pamela, how are you? Hey, listen, when you guys join me today, can you just type in which district you represent? That's really important. Hey, Demita, I know what district you guys are in, but if you don't mind, rep your district. Type in your district for me. Let's see who all is here. Yeah, Pamela, this fall, well, I don't know if it's, I guess it is called a fall break, but some of the Fulton County schools are out today and tomorrow and Monday. And I'm actually looking forward to, hey, Larry, I love it when you check in with us. How have you been, Larry? All right, so Pamela, District 3, Demita, District 2, Larry, District 5. I'm a little early, so I'm going to give people about 3 more minutes, you guys, and then I'm going to dive into it. These are all of my notes. Look, these are all my notes. I'm going to get through it. I am a stickler for trying to remember everything I need to tell y'all. So 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 more people in here, but you aren't telling me who you are. So let's see who's trying to spy on us, Pamela. Hey, Chief Daniels, District 4, welcome. How do you like my hashtag, the Jordan Report? It's because of you. It is because of you, sir, that I have even entertained the Jordan Report. Pamela, when do I rest? Lord knows. I get about 5 hours of sleep every day. I get my rest on the Sundays when I'm not at the gun range. So that's when I get my rest. Larry, you've been well. Good. Welcome back. This is going to be a very good informational session. There's a lot to cover. Alvin, District 4, you were sitting behind me. You know what? That was you sitting behind me at the council meeting. You did not introduce yourself. So, Alvin, that was you. And you and I were cracking up together. So, welcome aboard. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5 representing the group. Hey, Chris. We all know Chris Jones in Cook's Landing. He's in District 4. Welcome. Chief Daniels, the Jordan Report rocks. I hope you find this one good because I've got a lot to cover and I'm going to try to get it done in less than 30 minutes. So I am going, oh, you had to leave early. Okay, Alvin, no problem. Well, next time, just tap me on the back, on my shoulder and let me know that's you. I love meeting you all when I'm out because social media creates a barrier where we only see each other online, and then when we're out in the public, I enjoy meeting you. So I'm going to start this off with no school tomorrow, you guys. No school on Friday. I know the rec centers will be open. My son's going to be with his grandmother, and I'm going to work, and then I'm taking some time off. I'm off on Monday. So Pamela, that's when I'm actually going to get some rest on Monday, more than likely. So let me get started. So I'm going to come back to, hey, Kip, Garion, you're in D3. I didn't know that, Garion. I should have known that. Had no idea. So listen, for all of you that's in D3, if you were not at your town hall meeting last night, can I just tell you that you missed a treat? You missed a treat, okay? Hey, Kip, thanks for joining us. Hey, Demita, I know you're in D2 representing. So last night, Helen Willis, I mean, she pulled it out. All the department heads were there. So there were, there was representation from the police department, fire department, planning and development. There was someone from, oh Lord, don't let me leave anyone out. Parks and Recs. There was, these are department heads. And there were department heads from Public Works and code enforcement. So I want to tell you guys all of the good things that I learned last night. I have adopted myself into your district, Gary, in D3, because my son has been playing, as you all know, at Welcome Park since he was 3. So I like and enjoy knowing, and it was at Welcome, so I enjoy knowing what's going on at the park. So I'm just going to start with some good news. First, let me tell you all, I got a report back from the Ring. And so far, the City of South Fulton code has been used 92 times. Y'all, that is awesome. 92 people, I would say over the past 2 to 3 months, have purchased a Ring. Do you understand how phenomenal that is? And now you all have an extra set of eyes. And I hope you're enjoying your Ring. I actually heard from one of my girlfriends, Rhonda, and she installed it herself. So it's not a really hard thing to do. So I'm just going to start from what I learned last night. So the City of South Fulton Fire Department is having a smoke alarm blitz. If you need a smoke detector, it is free when you call 404-612-5700. Here's my thing. Even if you don't think you need one, just call and get one and change out the ones that you have. They are on a mission. Like I said, this is their smoke alarm blitz. I'm sure you would like that, Chief Daniels, to make sure that we have good functioning, working smoke detectors. As you know, it's cool. It's getting cooler outside. Some of us will start burning fireplaces and things like that, plugging up these, I don't know what they're called, the heaters. So we need to make sure that our smoke detectors are working. So go ahead and test the ones you have out. If you want to get a new one, then give the awesome City of South Fulton Fire Department a call. Their number for a free smoke detector, call 404-612-5700. They are also hiring 30 new firefighters in November. They're getting some new trucks. He gave a really good, they only had 5 minutes. Helen was really strict. She gave everyone 5 minutes to give an update. Yeah, Demita, I love my Ring too. We're actually getting one more installed. So I think we'll have a total of three Rings in some capacity installed in our house. All right, so I have an update from our awesome police department. Okay, I'm going to start with the good, and I'm going to probably end up leaving it that way. But if you had attended last night's meeting, you would have heard our awesome officers speak very highly of our city manager, Ruth Jones. And here's what they had to say. She has really been pushing for the transition team. So there's 4 officers on a team. They've been working with her to transition services for the police. They have this identifier. It's called an ORI. It shows agencies as they're entering information nationwide or entering data nationwide. They're registered as a official police department. And they received it on yesterday. She actually told them she was there as well. So Ruth Jones was in the house. And along with that ORI, that helps us in the event if we need to help look for someone. We're in that database so we can help look for criminals that may have crossed over into our district and vice versa. So that number is very important, and they did receive that on yesterday. And the city manager also formed a joint retention committee with the Human Resources Department to promote retention. What he said was that, and this was Captain Griffin, he said that just really the day before yesterday, so the day before yesterday, it's Thursday, yeah, the day before yesterday, he actually got notification from 2 police officers that they wanted to quit. They were turning in their notice. And anyway, he took them through this retention program, and they decided to stay. This is very, very key because we don't normally hear about the positive things that are going on with our police, our city, working within our city staff. And we normally don't hear a lot of good things about Ruth Jones. We're hearing that we want her to end her tenure with the city at the end of the year. And to hear the police just really, really give her the accolades they gave her for the work that she has been doing to help them, that just made me feel a lot better, because she is the engine that's driving the ship to get us transitioned where we can get those services over from Fulton County. So I thought that was good. Now this is really, y'all, this is what really got me excited. Demita said, Chief Daniel says next week is National Fire Prevention Week. Okay, so they need to get those fire detectors, don't they? Smoke detectors, smoke detectors. Now, he gave out the crime stats for D3. And I would like to let you all know, I know Helen won't mind, I got permission to share this with you. So all of the D3 residents, listen up. They compared crime stats from January through September 2016, I'm trying to rush, versus January to September 2017. Hey, Malika. And in the burglary section, it went from 118 to 50. Woo! That is a 58% decrease in burglaries in District 3. Motor vehicle thefts, there's a decrease, 70 in 2016, 61 occurred in 2017, but y'all, the theft from motor vehicle, the slider crimes, and Captain even mentioned that the slider crime task force that was formed, do y'all remember who helped form that? Well, from the citizen standpoint, it was myself, Helen Willis, and Raynard Johnson. And he said because of the work that had been done, there had been a significant decrease in theft from motor vehicles at 30% seen in this district. So it went from 139 to 98. And we're looking, and that's from the gas stations and surrounding areas, the slider crimes. So here's what I want to tell you guys. Things may start out small. It doesn't take a lot of us to get things done. I'm not, taking all the credit for this from our task force, but I can tell you we were team no sleep. We wanted to see changes. Helen saw a message I posted on Nextdoor. She jumped in. She wasn't running for office at the time. I did not know her from any of you. And just to hear him thank us for the work that we did to help them lets me know that you guys, it is possible for us to work with our municipalities to have positive change in our communities. And it doesn't always look, I'm telling you, we were criticized. We were told we were crazy for protesting at gas stations. We were told all kinds of things. But that crime has now shifted, unfortunately, throughout the other parts of Atlanta, but it's nothing like it was when we first started that initiative. So I want to give Captain Griffin a huge high five. I talked to him a lot on yesterday, and I did talk to him on today. And so that crime, the theft from motor vehicle crime, is down 30% due to the slider crime task force, according to Captain Griffin. There have been 0 homicides in District 3. Aggravated assault is pretty much about the same. It's went from 39 to 34, so there's a little decrease. And larceny is inclusive of all thefts, so that can be a theft of a person, theft of a laptop, just all thefts lumped in together. So that has decreased. Let me just give you the percentage, by 23%. It went from 354 to 270. And here's what was stated by one of the members in the audience, because what I really like about last night is Helen gave, we were told it's bad. Hey, Helen, hey, your city councilwoman is here. She said that, yeah, when we were working on the task force, we were told talking about crime was bad for economics, but that did not stop me. That did not stop her. We wanted to save people from being victims. So you're right, Helen. We were told to stop talking about crime because it was hurting our economic development. But I want you guys to keep something in mind. No matter what we talk about in this group, if you are a savvy business person, if you are a savvy homeowner, you are going to look up stats on your own, the same way you're going to look up stats when you enroll your kids into a school. I hope we're not just enrolling kids into school, because the stats don't lie. And it's not my stats. These are stats that they can get from different databases. The stats are out there. What we should be focusing on is, how do we change the stats? How do we decrease the crime so that we have more businesses looking at us and not hesitating to do business? Not because we're talking about it, but because we've done something about it. How about that? One thing that the police, Captain Griffin said, because in Helen's district, the constituents were saying, hey, I have called several times about cars, and I'm sorry, about 18-wheelers driving through, and we know it seems that no one is coming. And you know what? He really broke this down, and I'm going to just share this with you. And I want you guys to remember this as you are advocating for change, or you're talking to your respective city council people. He said that right now we're a reactive police department because we are not completely staffed. I'm just going to give you the stats from last night. We have 132. We have 132 officers right now. We have 20 vacancies. We should be at 152. I think that's right. Yes, that's correct. So we should be at 152, but to be a proactive police force, we need 196. So here's the thing, and you're going to hear me talk about it again tonight about those aides, because it just sickens me. It sickens me to my core that there are some people on city council that don't get it. So yeah, I'm going to go there tonight. This is the Jordan report, so I'm going to give it to you uncut. And he said, listen, I live here. I raised my family here. Our officers do not feel valued. Our officers do not feel that some people and he didn't go here, but I know what he means, because it's not the staff. The staff is working hard to try to get things done. They're trying to get the city together. But if you have leadership that think they have some kind of power other than writing policies, ordinances, and resolutions, that here lies the problem. And the way you get bees is how? Honey, right? If we're not using that philosophy, if we're not developing relationships with our staff, it's going to be hard to operate. It's going to be hard to operate, and it's going to be hard to go back to those same people and say, hey, can you help me? So what I want to see, and what I'm praying, Lord knows I'm praying and I'm hoping, that the ones that have been very vocal, some have been said to be very nasty towards the staff, including our officers, just disrespectful. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know how you get elected and you just can take it upon yourself to feel you can talk to people any kind of way and treat people any kind of way. But that has occurred. That's not coming from me. That's coming from people that I've heard it from. And just from what he alluded to last night, there has to be a change. And it's gonna, even if we change the city manager, what else would have changed? We can change the city manager, but we still got the same city council people, right? So something else will have to change. We have got to realize that together, everyone achieves more. You know, if you break that down, that's an acronym for team. And what I'm looking and hoping and praying is that they understand that they are a team. We can't continue down this path. So in order to have a proactive police force, you guys, we need 196 full-time positions. And I'm going to leave it at that. But as I mentioned, Mrs. Jones in Helen's district stated, crime kills a city's reputation. And I do believe that. But one thing I can tell you is crime is down in D3, and it's contributed to, I wrote it down from last night, so I want to look at my notes. Crime is down because they have been vigilant and proactive. I love that, because that's what this group is about. It's about being vigilant and proactive. Demetrius says, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful citizens can change the world. Indeed is the only thing that ever has. And yes, these are stats specific to D3, Demita. So I'm guessing that at your upcoming council meeting with your town hall meeting with your city councilwoman, she will have the stats specific to D2. Hey, Davina. Hey, Sam. Yeah, doing nothing about crime is bad for economics. And Pamela says she wants names. Well, I don't think the names are important. I think we can tell by the synergy that we see in city council who is who's being cooperative, who's being collaborative, and who is kind of trying to do things on their own. Demetra says, please state where D3 is for new people who have joined. Okay, so District 3, Helen, please type it in for me, because what I can tell you is it's pretty big. It sits where Welcome All Park is, Demetrius, and I'm sure Helen will chime in here in a second. I don't have the map, I'm sorry, but it extends from there, I want to say back to South Fulton Parkway. Welcome All in Cliftondale. Okay, so Welcome All in Cliftondale. Thank you. All right. So now I want to tell you what I learned last night, really big, is the difference between code enforcement, what they enforce, and public works. And so we had a presentation from code enforcement. They enforce ordinances that deal with inspecting issues with property management. And look, they were even nice enough, you guys, to bring in these awesome brochures that they have. I mean, they are doing some major work in the city. And I wanted to talk about that tonight because I want you all to see that even though they have actually transitioned over, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And so you're going to report code violations to this number. I have it here. Code violations can be reported 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by calling 470-809-TELL 8355. You can also send an email to click it at cityofsouthfultonga.gov. A lot of the constituents weren't aware of this new number, and so I figured if they weren't, this could probably be helpful for you as well. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. They have transitioned over. Thank you, Helen. And so code enforcement has transitioned over, and this is the outcome of being transitioned into the city of South Fulton. Inside the brochure, common code violations: trash and debris, high grass and weeds, parking on the grass. Those are the things that you call them for. Yes, Demita, we are praying that everyone gets on board. But public works deals with illegal dumping. They also deal with transportation, grass cutting, maintenance, and roadway works. And we are still sharing those resources with Fulton County. So, and that is the director for public works is David Clark. And I will give you all his information here shortly. I don't have his slide in front of me, but I figured that some of the things that you all are calling about more than anything is code enforcement. Code planning business have transitioned to the city. Thanks, Helen. Again, you guys, code enforcement violations can be called in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call this number, and that's right. There it is, Belinda, 470-809-8355. All right, so the moment you've been waiting for. Welcome, Belinda. Okay, so Sam said we recently had our first code enforcement board meeting. Folks are trying hard to fix violations. That's good to know. Demetrius says code enforcement is vital for abandoned vehicles, poor property, unkept. Make sure when you call, get a ticket number and or a name and keep a record. Also includes public works. Thanks, Demetrius. Representing from, where you representing from? I'm gonna let you tell us where you're from. All right, are you ready? Who has read the amendments to the charter? Let's see who has taken it. Oh wait, no, I have some more good things to tell you. Hold on before I go there. So last night, let me tell you, I was like a kid in the candy store because this meeting from Helen Willis, and I'm not just saying this because I was there, so I can say what I want actually, but I'm not just saying this because I know her very well, but this woman has been putting in work without any assistance, like zero, nada, none. I'm about to break down unclassified. Demetrius, really? Okay. I'm about to break down what she has passed through, and I'm gonna skim over it real quick for the sake of time. Then I'm gonna tell you what ordinances she has in process. So those of you in 2, 4, and 5, Do you know what ordinances your city council person has passed? And do you know what ordinances your city council person is working on? Those are the things, that's exactly what they've been elected to do. Ordinances already exist, so you don't always have to create them. Ordinances establish order. So I'm going to start with what she's already passed. So she has passed a rules of the road ordinance. And this is so that when our police are transitioned over, the police, and it could be now, Helen, so correct me if I'm wrong, when the police writes tickets, they have an ordinance in place to issue a ticket for speeding, when violating, when parking on sidewalks, et cetera, that has passed. She also has another ordinance that passed, co-sponsored by Mayor Pro Tem Catherine Roel, and that is a resolution actually to envision the city of South Fulton as a smart city, where they use information and technology to enhance the livability, workability, and sustainability of the city by using technology in a smart way to run the city more efficiently. That has passed. Okay, so some of you are saying, no, you don't have or see any ordinance. So you all haven't seen ordinances passed, and you haven't seen ordinances that you haven't heard that there's ordinances in process. Those are the emails and questions and calls you should be making to your city council people. They don't have to wait for the police department to be transitioned over to create ordinances. If you all have been calling them about issues and concerns, like what I heard last night was phenomenal, because most of the things that had been sent to Helen, she had it resolved by having those department heads there. They answer questions on the spot, or it had already been answered. So this is why in D3 you all elected Helen Willis. She is really pulling her weight. Now, ordinances in process. Here we go. Rules of park and recreation ordinance. So some of her constituents were saying that people are speeding in the parks. They're hanging out in the parks too late. So what her ordinance is in process, this is in process. Her ordinance states to enforce speeding in the parks, define specific park open and closed hours. It currently says the park is closed after dusk. Okay, that's so ambiguous. What is after dusk? and see, this is the existing language. So you see what Helen has done. And she has said, no, we need to be more specific in the new city. So she's working on that. She's pulled that together. Establish resident and non-residential fees for park amenities. You guys, that's probably going to generate money for Parks and Recs. We probably right now have people coming in from, let's just say, I love my College Park people, but let's just use you for instance. Let's just say College Park, because there's a lot of great pavilions and amenities at Welcome All. Well, if you can't show that you are a resident of that district, you will be paying the non-resident fee. But if you can show that you're a resident, you're going to be paying the resident fee. And that's going to be a lot less, more than likely, because I've seen this in the city of Atlanta. And I applaud her for doing this, because the amenities are really for the residents of that district. So kudos to you for that one too, Helen. The next one is an ordinance to establish City of South Fulton commercial truck routes. This was a huge one from her constituents. They have expressed that the trucks are following in rows or traveling on roads. I can't remember some of the streets that they mentioned, but it's bothersome. They're tearing up the roads. They need to, go on South Fulton Parkway or Camp Creek Parkway. So per Helen, this is one that she and Mayor Pro Tem Catherine Roel are co-sponsoring, and it does require a little more rework or a little more work. The goal is to reroute 18-wheelers from using routes in the residential area. That's what this ordinance will do. And keep in mind, a lot of routes were created before the city was even formed, even I think before it was Fulton County. I guess it was that long ago. But that's an ordinance that's in process, and her constituents are extremely happy about that. The ATV ordinance. Oh, shoot, I didn't print this one out, but give me 1 second. This ordinance is to not allow ATVs to just drive on the street. I mean, it does say off-road vehicles. So Yeah, I applaud you for this one. This one is a huge nuisance. It had been in the city of Atlanta. Okay, so I'm reading your comments. I'll come back to you, Gary. No ATVs allowed on the streets. There are penalties coming if you are caught riding an ATV. And is this going to be just in your district, Helen? That's what I didn't find out. The first fine you will pay is the first time you're caught, it'll be $750. Second time is $1,000. Third time, 30 days in jail, not to exceed 6 months. And there's a little more involved inside of that ordinance. But the bottom line is it's going to cost you if you're caught on the street. It's for the city. Awesome. So this is for the whole, and this woman is creating ordinances for the whole, for everybody. Okay. That's the third one. The next one is sanitation and recycling ordinance. I'm flying through this. I know I could probably say a lot more, but I'm trying to get to what, in this good stuff, like in this, don't you like to hear that someone is really working on something that's going to bring about noticeable change, not only in the district, but in the city? I get excited about it. All right, so this is sanitation and recycling ordinance. So the way it's explained is there's a current RFP for the sanitation and recycling vendor that goes out this month. You have to have an ordinance in place to regulate rules and regulations. So she has created that ordinance for that as well. So when they decide on who the vendor will be, now you already have an ordinance created to enforce whatever rules, regulations that you need to get the ball rolling, because that is going to generate money for the new city as well. So she's not just creating ordinances for the new city or for just her district, but these ordinances will help establish rules and regulations centered around areas that are generating revenue for the new city. The last one is an adoption of the additional ethics ordinance. Do you guys think, because this is going to tie into the amendment to the charter, do you think we need an ethics ordinance? I'm going to stop here so I can read some of your comments. What do you think about this one? Belinda says no. What do you mean no? D4 wants to know. I don't know what, I probably was talking and forgot to come back. I need somebody who can help me read your messages. Pamela says we need ordinances regarding utility vehicles parked in neighborhoods. Okay, you may want to send that utility vehicles parked in neighborhoods. You might want to send that over to Helen. What we should increase fines for illegal dumping. I completely agree with you there, Gary, and that did come up. Again, Public Works is in charge of illegal dumping. They haven't been transitioned over to the new city, but reach out to Helen and let her know your thoughts on that. I'm sure she's already working on it, but just she needs to hear from you. And they're taking find the company. So that did come up last night. So drivers are going through residential areas on their own. They're taking shortcuts, find the company. That did come up. That was a suggestion from one of her constituents to not only find the driver, but to find the business as well. So that did come up from your area, Pamela, last night. And Malika, I don't know what you're saying yes to, but y'all just have to talk back to me. Let's face it, Helen's the only one that is doing anything. Well, I'm just giving you the work. I'm telling you what she's doing. I'm telling you what I learned last night, and it's incredible what she has accomplished without a council aid. Yes. Okay. So you're saying yes, Demita, to we need an ethnics ordinance, and so are you, Gary, and so are you, Malika. Okay, I'm caught up. All right. I'm going to go to the amendment to the charter, and I'm going to come back. But I want you to know that Helen and Mayor Pro Tem Catherine Rowell have co-sponsored the adoption of additional ethics ordinance for the city of South Fulton. So I'm going to turn my page and come to the amendment from the amendment to the charter by State Roger Bruce, State Representative Roger Bruce. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read on my notes. So have you all been reading the minutes and have you seen the videos from some of the council meetings? Alvin said he was there. He left. I was wondering who that was laughing with me, sitting behind me. Have you all asked yourself questions about some of the things that have been going on. Like, for instance, the last meeting, these were the aha moments for me at the last meeting. So this is Daphne's aha moment. So in my Jordan report, I'm going to give you some aha moments. The aha moment for me in the last meeting was that Ms. Gilliard forgot to vote on a matter the previous meeting. I'm going to say it again. Mrs. Gilliard forgot to vote on a matter, and I know they spent 15 to 20 minutes trying to figure out if the vote that she should have voted on before would be counted. I mean, it was baffling. Has anyone ever experienced such a thing? I have some City of Atlanta people in here. I know I do. But this is what we come to the meetings for. This is like your job, to vote. And when I heard her say, I forgot to vote, I was thinking, I don't understand. I mean, that was like I think my neck jerked back. How do you forget to vote on a matter? And we spent a lot of time at the city council meeting about that. So that was my first aha moment. And then this kind of ties into why we should be holding our city council people accountable for the matters and concerns in our districts. Again, they are policy makers. They are not in charge of employees of the city. They are not in charge of anyone but themselves. Ruth has hired the people, and they actually report to Ruth. And the reason why I'm saying this is policymakers do not need aides, you guys. Did y'all just hear all the things I ran down the list that Helen was able to accomplish without an aide? She does her own research. I mean, when you think that's the way it should be done, it's your district, your constituents are coming to you, and who would know best how to better serve them and give them what they need other than you as their elected official, right? Am I missing something? And so, again, I'm going to talk about it, because taking resources away from the police department or anywhere versus using interns, and then you guys are telling me here right now that some of your district, your city council people haven't passed ordinances. They don't have any that are in the queue. What are the aides for? I'm asking for a friend. What are the aides for? Can somebody please help me? Yeah, I'm talking about it again tonight. What are the aides for? It's not fiscally responsible, considering the shortage of police. We need 196. We have 132. That makes us a reactive police force. Okay? The last thing we needed to have done was take funding. Or first of all, let's back up. The last thing that should have occurred was a veto by the mayor. When the mayor said, this is not something that I agree with or I feel should be done, it really should have been left there. But then a fifth vote appeared and it overrode the mayor. And this is why, this is my personal, it's not even an opinion, it's a fact. You can check the votes. And that's why I'm asking you, have you read the meeting minutes? Have you listened to the video? Because it tells the story. It tells you who is listening to their constituents. That's why you all have to hold who you voted accountable. It is just that. This is simple. You vote them in, and they don't listen to you. What does that mean? There has been no demonstrated need for aid, you guys. I just showed you how Helen has created ordinances. They have passed. The ordinances that are in the queue, that are in process, they will impact not only her district, but they will be helpful to the city. Where's the other work being done? If y'all are telling me that I asked the question earlier, what ordinances have passed in your district? Are you aware of them? And what ordinances are currently in process? If you guys can tell me, then please, I mean, you don't have to because it's not my district, but those are the questions you should be asking your city council person. What are you working on? These are some of the issues in our district. How do we fix them? Did it just go away? All right. So what exactly do y'all think these aides are going to do? There's no job description. And so, you know, I went to see State Rep Roger Bruce. We had a very candid talk because if you all don't know the history between us, when we were going to a meeting that was centered around, actually it was centered around the McDaniel brothers. And somehow at that same meeting, Roger Bruce, I was introduced to Roger by Helen. And Roger Bruce said, I don't want to hear that about no crime. Oh my God. And I was in the church and I forgot I was in the church and my neck rolled back and I was like, so I lost it because I was like, how could you say that to someone who's working to remedy the crime? Right. So we fell out. It was really big and it was really big. And so anyway, we have since come together. We sat down. I explained to him where I was coming from. He explained to me where he was coming from. And the beauty about relationships are they are meant to be mended and not just broken. So I'm glad that Roger and I are on a different page. And so he did invite me into the Capitol and wanted me to see firsthand the charter amendments that had been created based on constituents like yourself who had reached out to him, State Rep Bodie, State Rep Bazemore, and there was one other one. I'm not familiar with the other person right this minute, but you all, some of you have reached out and said, listen, you got to do something about this. The charter had been violated. We have city council people that are there's some misconduct here. What can you do at the state level? So when I hear people say they don't think the amendment to the charter is a good idea, what you're basically saying to these people who call their state rep not to advocate for change, is that what you're telling these people? Is that really what we're telling people? Don't complain, just keep letting it slide. It's gonna work itself out. Is that what we really think is gonna happen? Have you guys been paying attention to what's really been happening here? It's not going to change. It's almost like telling a child, you have free reign to do whatever. Here's the rules of the house. You tell the child, here's the rules of the house, but you don't have any consequences for when those rules are broken. That's kind of where we are right now. Okay, because when I got that ORR, open records request, and saw that Mark Baker and Khalid had made job offers for aides the first round, I mean, it was literally the next day after that had passed. I knew then, I said, I went through the charter. I didn't see any, I saw mention of an ethics board, but there was not one created. So I went to the Attorney General, okay? Yes, I went to the Attorney General and said, hello, we have a problem here. What can we do? And he came back to me and said, you need to have this ethics committee and or board established at the city level. Now, because there were so many people that went to their state rep and that they complained about some of the things that were going on, like having interviews on television, complaining about the mayor. The mayor wasn't doing this and the mayor was doing that. Why would we go on TV and air the same dirty laundry that you don't want me to air about crime? It's like, what were we thinking, people? What were we thinking? And so what they did, our state representatives got together and they had a press conference and they said, listen, we hear you people. We hear our constituents. We want you to know that we've heard every phone call, email, and we've read them all and we're going to do something about it. So now that's where the amendments to the charter come from. It doesn't just come from someone saying, I'm going to do this because you're doing that. It came from people reaching out to their state rep saying, you guys need to do something. You created the charter. Now do something about this. So let's talk about some of that. Let me just break down a couple of things for you. Because what I noticed, another one of my aha moments, did he talk to the city leaders? Who specifically, Demita, are you talking about? City leaders, I'm not sure. We can't have them arrested. There's nothing in the charter family that says we can have them arrested. Did you talk this over with the new city leaders? And are you talking about city council members? I personally haven't spoken with them about it because right now, from what Roger Bruce has said to Mita, is he is putting this out there. He's got 4 of the local South delegates on board, and I think he's waiting to hear from some of the other ones because they're not in session. And then since he has enough to move it over to the Senate, then that's the next step when session becomes in effect in January 2018. I haven't talked to any of them about this because just like you and me, Demeter, they all live here and they can read these amendments and they can give him his feedback. So what Roger Bruce is asking is that I put a link out for the charter, amendments to the charter, for you all to read for yourself to make sure you understand it completely. And that if you find that you're just in agreement with some things, let him know. If you find that you're in disagreement with some things, please let him know. Because this is not, I'm just sharing what I know and I've read it. So I'm going to break it down for you and let you know. But no, I haven't spoken to all of the leaders, mayor and city council rep Bruce, not you. No, I haven't spoken to all of them. I think that right now getting public comments is what the goal is. And I would say this can be, I believe Roger Bruce has actually spoken to them about it. And he invited some of them to come in to talk about it, if I'm not mistaken. So I know Roger has had a conversation, but I have not. Another aha moment for me was at a meeting that I attended, and I want to say these aha moments were for the last meeting. This ties into one of the changes into the charter. I want you all to go back and look at the last meeting. Actually it's 2 things. There are a couple of things. The current parliamentarian today is Khalid, okay? That's a big role. It's a role to, restore order, follow Robert's Rules of Order, and you have to also be in order to be the parliamentarian. And so in one of the meetings, when the mayor vetoed the voting holiday, Khalid proceeded to play a recorded message between him and the mayor during a prior meeting. So he could play this statement during city council meeting to prove or show that the mayor was contradicting himself. This is not following Robert Rules of Order. So that's number 1. So if you're asking, why do we need to make certain changes? I'm giving you one example. The next example was at the recent meeting, the same meeting where Ms. Gilliard forgot to vote the previous meeting. So this was the last meeting in September. And during the vote for the nomination for Ms. Tiffany Sellers as the municipal court judge, in the middle of the vote, Khalid asked if he could ask Ms. Sellers, now this is time to vote, but he asked the mayor if he could ask Ms. Sellers why she defended the Campbellton Road dry cleaner owner. The mayor said no. So the mayor asked for everyone's vote. Khalid got up and walked out. Now you're the parliamentarian. He got up and walked out. I witnessed this with my own 2 eyes. You guys can go watch the video yourself. This is incredible because this just shows that you have to know Robert Rules of Order and you have to also be in order yourself. And then so when he came back, they finally made the vote. Everyone stated their votes. And then Khalid asked if the city council could discuss changing Robert's Rules of Order around something that fits them as a council. You guys, listen. I need you, don't take my word for it. Go look at the meeting yourself. Some of you may feel like this is being critical. It's not. If they can't take constructive criticism, then they shouldn't have gotten in those positions. But the first thing is, to be a parliamentarian, you first have to be in order to have order. That's out of order. So the role of the parliamentarian is a very serious role. It should not be taken lightly. And on several occasions, the current parliamentarian has been out of order. Go figure. And he's also violated the charter. So here's why I know for a fact there has to be some type of change, okay? So the changes to the charter are recommended by the South Fulton House delegation legislators, are available for your public view and comments. And here's how it's broken down. Yes, Mia. Y'all need to watch the video, and you need to go read the meeting minutes, because the meeting minutes you may be able to catch up really quickly. And I already said this, there was an overwhelming response from the community to these delegates regarding misconduct, recent violations of the charter, and obvious contention between certain city council members that vetoed the mayor on several occasions. In particular, the mayor vetoed the city council aides as he heard from constituents, and constituents have also voiced concerns to their city council members, but it still passed by a vote of 5-2. So if the constituents are saying, no, we don't agree with this, and there's still a way for city council to not, to act like they don't hear you or not listen to you, here's what's going to happen. So the first thing is the city charter amendments include the city attorney is now authorized to be included as the parliamentarian and in compliance with the charter, state law, and federal law. There's some other language around what the city attorney will do, but the bottom line is that parliamentarian role will be moved over to the city attorney, because he knows Robert's rules of order, and he will follow those rules. So that's number one. And that's why I gave you my aha moments, because I'm giving you the meat. And this happened recently, before these amendments were even in place. So before someone says whatever they can say, the aha moments just happened a few weeks ago. Mayor's veto. In the event the mayor vetoes an ordinance, the city clerk, here's what's going to be different. So Davina says, Robert Rules of Order for Dummies is only $13. I think, well, it may not be necessary after January, but I do think that there needs to be a refresher. I use Robert Rules of Order as a PTA president. I had a parliamentarian. We followed those rules. It's just the bottom line. So the mayor's veto. Right now, we've had it where if a vote passes 4-3, the mayor can actually, it can be vetoed by the mayor. So his vote can be the one to overrule that. And we've seen that happen with council aides. It came back on the agenda, and there was a fifth vote that came, and that overrode the mayor. Okay, so now let's just say we're in that situation. When that vote overrode the mayor, there was a lot of outcry there was already outcry from the community about, why are we doing this? We don't want aides. Why did you use the intern program? So there was a lot of confusion from constituents as to why the city council was just basically, some of them were not listening. And what will happen now is, in the event the mayor vetoes an ordinance, the city clerk shall publish, so he shall basically have a public hearing. And that public hearing will allow the community to provide feedback, ask questions, and state your information as to how you feel. But what I really love about this is it is now recorded in minutes. So what I think may have happened before is there was a lot of complaining, possibly. I do know a lot of you said, I've called my city council person, they don't return my calls. I've emailed them, they don't respond. At every meeting that is held by the city, it is recorded. There's someone that's actually recording the meeting minutes. And so this is very important for us to show up. This is why I keep asking, we need to show up to meetings, and we need to go on record stating certain things so that it can never be said it wasn't brought to someone's attention. It's a recorded minute. Yes, the fifth vote has shocked many people, Mia. I must say I'm highly disappointed in it. There is no rhyme or reason for it. And it's just incredibly asinine, in my opinion. And so anyway, that public hearing will give the community a chance to give your feedback, and then it automatically goes back on the next meeting agenda. If the number of city council members necessary to vote override the veto are not present, the action may be continued until another regular meeting with the minimum number of council members present. The city council may override a veto by the mayor and adopt any ordinance that has been vetoed by the mayor by the affirmative votes of 5-2. So really the major difference here is there will be a public hearing. So let's say this happens, floor forbid again, and there is this huge outcry from the community. Now you'll have an opportunity to come to a public hearing and state how you feel to each city council person and or to your respective council member. And also, you don't have to tell me how you feel about any of these amendments. What I prefer that you do is email Roger Bruce, and I'm going to tell you how to email him here in just a second. But the first one is very important. This one also gives to me some leverage to the community to be involved, because I must tell you, this last time it was almost like no one's listening to us. So the next one is an ethics board. Haven't you heard that one before? So there will be an ethics board as a governing authority by the city of South Fulton, established here in the charter. And the board would consist of 2 members appointed by a majority of the city of South Fulton legislative delegation, composed of both senators and representatives of the General Assembly, whose districts are located wholly and partially in the city of South Fulton. There will be 1 member appointed by the city council, 1 member appointed by the mayor, and 1 member appointed by the chief judge of the municipal court. There is no compensation for serving on this ethics board. You guys had said you think we need an ethics board, right? Who promised my D2? Ooh, Demita, I don't know. I have no idea, but the vote is very odd. And it says they are to ensure all duties are performed as required by the charter and state law and act in accordance with the charter or the board, and or assess the following civil penalties for violation of any of the rules. The first violation is a $500 fine within a 12-month period. The second one is $1,000 for the second violation. The third one is $2,500 for the third violation within a 12-month period. The mayor or city council shall be subject to removal pursuant failure to pay any civil penalty within 30 days or 3 or more violations within a 3-month period. I'm just going to tell you, I think the fee should be increased. 500, I can see somebody finding 5 friends and getting $100 from each of them. So I'm just sharing with you one of my recommendations, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. I want to see the fee increased because I feel that if someone knows, someone would be more cognizant of making wrong decisions if they got to pay a big fine. That's just my personal opinion. And so I feel the first violation should be $2,500. The second violation should be $4,000. And the third violation, let's just say $7,000. That's what I'm recommending. I don't know if it will happen, but my purpose here is saying, listen, let's not leave a stone unturned with what we've already seen can happen here. And let's make sure we start with a increased fine that's so high for the first violation, they won't even consider violating the charter. They won't consider any misconduct. Let's raise that fee. Okay. And that's it. Those were the only changes in the amended charter. I want to make sure that was it. That was it. I got through it all. Oh my goodness. I did 1, 2, 3. So there were 3 main things. What do y'all think about this? Do you think, so that's at the state level. That's the ethics board at the state level. So I meant to come back to the ordinance co-sponsored, the adoption of additional ethics ordinance co-sponsored by Helen Willis and Mayor Pro Tem. And this one does mimic this city of ethics ordinances that currently exist in other cities today, defined by the Georgia Municipal Association. You can go find this information at www.gma, Georgia Municipal Association, gmanet.com. They want to become a city of ethics designation. Right now, there's over 200 cities with that designation in Georgia. And it helps to establish an ethics policy to encourage high ethical standards in official conduct by city officials. They want to establish guidelines for ethical standards of conduct. They also want this to serve as a discipline for those who refuse to abide by its terms. So these ladies have teamed up to present an ordinance to their peers with the hopes that they will agree to see that this should be done at the city level. Their board members will consist of three members of all residents. One will be appointed by the mayor, one by city council, one by combination nominated by mayor and approved by city council. They also have it broken down in other facets as to how they can choose their board members. This will actually come up at, if not this next city council meeting, as a matter of fact, I remember correctly, it will be discussed at the work session. So, work session happens on the second Tuesday first around 10 o'clock, and then they have the regular meeting. So pay very close attention to the posture, to the response from all of the city council people centered around this ordinance. It is key. We don't have this in place at either level. And if we have anyone on our city council that disagrees with having an ordinance to establish order or to establish ethics, to hold them accountable for being ethical, then we have a whole nother problem here. So what I'm hoping that we find and see is that they just try to find some minor tweaks to it, but let's not, go too far to the left here. Work session, I'm sorry. Helen said work session is at 5. Oh God, it's so much to keep up with. I don't know how you do it, Helen. All right, so Davina says, I'm glad you did this because street committee said something else, Davina. Oh my goodness. That's why we cannot listen to that street committee, because I get mine from the source. And this is what I mean by the source. This is the actual amendment to the charter. I want you guys to see it's not Daphne who's talking. I just kind of jotted down my notes. You guys can now pull this down. You had access to it. And it's on Roger Bruce's website. Oh God, I can't keep up with everything. It is www.rogerbruce.net. And you can email him. Oh boy. Let me see if I find his email. I posted it on a different. If someone can address that would be so great. But you can email him also. I'll post that in the group as well. You will find that Roger wants, and there's 3 months here for us to send comments, objections, suggestions, praise. Let Roger know how you feel about the following. So I'll go over them one last time. It's 9:45. I'm not doing too bad. It's only been an hour. Woohoo! The first one is the city attorney will be the parliamentarian and follow Robert's Rules of Order along with all of his other assigned duties. The second one is the mayor's veto will, after a veto, the city clerk will establish a public hearing for the public to come in and give feedback, ask questions, so that it can be placed on the agenda with the hopes that your city council person will listen to the constituents and take it into consideration before another veto. That's what that is really for. Nothing else. Nothing else. It is not to give the mayor any more power, because technically it doesn't. If you and I hate to hear that. We had a city council person. I'm just going to tell you, it was Khalid. He put a video out and said the mayor was powerless, and I just think that's deplorable. I think that's on the lines of being deplorable for someone that you need to work with. You need to show and establish that you're working together, especially when you're trying to get Amazon to come to City South Fulton. So if I'm Amazon and I'm watching that video and I hear you say you have a powerless mayor, but I need to meet with your mayor, how's that going to work? So this is what I'm saying. We have got to get things ourselves, like look at yourself in the mirror. Some of these city council people need to do that, because if you have noticed who I have shared with you tonight who's putting in the work, we need all of them to do that, right? Don't you think that would, I mean, it's 7 of them. So again, the mayor's veto allows for public comment, but he can still be vetoed by a 5th vote. We've already seen that happen. And then the third thing is an ethics board. The City of South Fulton Ethics Board created at the state level to govern the authority of the City of South Fulton. Would you guys, who would disagree with these things? Who would disagree with these items? You don't have to tell me. It is completely your opinion. Please give it to Roger Bruce. The legislative session goes into effect in January of 2018. And look, this is a democracy, you guys. We have state representatives that really, really, really want your feedback. At the end of the day, they're gonna do what they think is best for the city. I forgot to mention this. I talked to Roger Bruce. We were talking about AIDS, and I said, Roger, how many of you are, the state representatives? How many aides do you guys have? I'm gonna break this down for you. I already know this. There's one aide that supports 8 representatives, and each of these representatives cover multiple cities that are inclusive of 57,000 people. So again, it doesn't make sense to me. Why, Lord? Touch your neighbor, somebody. Why does some of the City of South Fulton council members need aides to manage 12,000 people or less within their respective districts? So that is the question of the year. If the House, the state representatives have 1 aide, you guys, for 8 representatives, how? How do we need 7? All right, let me try to read some of your comments and then I'm going to get off. Pamela she could have changed her vote for various reasons and not because she was promised something. I regularly deal with her Councilwoman Gomes, and I firmly believe she has strong ethics and does her best to make decisions that benefit the city. Like some of our other leaders at the state and federal level, sometimes we disagree on their voting decisions, which have I already with Gomes. So Mike Penn says, shaking my head. Demeter says, like a fool. I don't know what that means. And Pamela says, Sam Bowen, everybody has their price. Well, Demeter says, how did we get here? We got here because of violations of the charter. We got here because we had city council members that they were just not working together. You all have seen it. I have seen it. If you've seen that video that Khalid made saying that we have a powerless mayor, and to be proud of that is deplorable. It is absolutely deplorable. Why would you get elected if you knew you didn't want to work with him? Because clearly I had been told the mayor was going to win. So if you knew, that you weren't going to work with him, and you're clearly showing in the beginning that you aren't willing to work, then you're not helping your constituents who voted him in. I gotta say this. This is not about them as city council people. Davina says she remembered that video. Oh yeah, I'm gonna repost it for you guys. It never made it to my group. It was in another group, but I'm gonna find that video. If somebody can find it before he takes it down, I'm sure somebody's trying to call him like, bruh, you need to take that video down. Somebody needs to find that video and post it. You guys need to see how we got here, Demeter. That type of foolishness is how we got here. Where are the ordinances that have been created for that district? I have yet to hear them or see them detailed on the meeting minutes. Yet. Nada. Zero. But I done seen plenty of proclamations. I want to give a proclamation to this person. I'm giving a proclamation to this person. Lord, honey, we got so many proclamations. I don't know how they're going to be acknowledging so many people next year because they gave out all this. They give out a lot of proclamations. But a city council person is supposed to create policies, ordinances, and resolutions. not just proclamations. And this is not me being sarcastic. I'm keeping it real with y'all because I've been following this, and I'm encouraging you to start following what your city council people are or not doing. I'm challenging you to start asking for the policies, ordinances, and resolutions that benefit your district and or the city. There's a lot that can be done before January 2018. Okay, and one of the other things that Helen also mentioned last night is that, oh Lord, I got so many notes. Last night, it was the police even said, you know, we really need to get the city seal and name because we're in the process of transitioning and we need to order uniforms. We need to have our branding. And here's what I want you all to understand. We have to have the name and city seal by 12/31 of this year. We have a vendor that's working on naming and branding for the new city. They will be at next week's city council meeting. It's got to get done though, because the police department and others need the proper branding in place to prevent unnecessary spending. So if we order things now, they transition over in January and we still don't have a new city name and a seal, and we just say, okay, we're just going to go out, and because by then we'll have a new city manager. That new city manager, ain't no telling what's going to happen. So they'll just be like, well, we need to do something. We can't just have, we've transitioned them over from Fulton County, so they can't wear Fulton County Police branding anymore. They'll purchase new branding, and then when we finally get the name, we'll have to repurchase that again. Yo, that can be some more police on the street. This is what we should be working on. This is the work I'm telling you that's missing. The first business of order should have been transitioning. And I have outlined this for you guys several times. I have made it very clear to you that the work we should be seeing cannot be found in those meeting minutes. Proclamations, yes, they're there. But we have some city council people that we are not seeing policies, ordinances, and resolutions. And I'm wondering again, if you need aides to do that for you, then that's a tragedy. That means you're not connected to your district. If you don't know what to do for your district without an aide, then you're not connected to your constituents. You're not connected. You want to delegate that off to somebody to do what you need to do for your constituents? You need an aide for that. I just gave y'all a ton of things that Helen Willis, and she's partnered with, Mayor Pro Tem Catherine Rowell, and they are really putting out some really good ordinances. They're really putting out some really good work here that will benefit the city. It's positive. It's very, very positive. That's what we need more of. So again, I'm about to close. Lord, I'm about to close like the church. Close. Get in contact with Roger Bruce on how you feel about those amendments. Someone posted in the group earlier, I've got a lot of comments about the changes. And if anyone sees anything wrong with those changes, and I've already outlined what's been going wrong at the meetings, then I've also outlined I would say in layman terms, what those changes, how they will bring about a different change, a sense of order, a sense of ethics to a group of people, some of them that have not been held accountable for violating the charter and some misconduct. Why wouldn't we want to have that at the state level when we don't have it at any level right now? If anyone is saying, I don't think they should get involved with changing the charter, it's never been done, I keep telling you guys, I don't live by what's never been done. We wouldn't have had a black president sitting around saying, it ain't never been done before. We'll never have a black president. Who thinks like that? I don't. I am the total opposite. Oh, that ain't never been done before? I'm going to try to do it. That's the type of person I am. Just like Chief Daniel says Daphne should do the Jordan report, I'm going to seriously try to move this a little progressively and oblige to what my audience has asked me to do. That's what I'm saying. We don't want to hear what's never been done before. We don't want to hear a recall has never been done before. We don't want to hear, because that doesn't matter to me at all. If it ain't never been done before, that means there's room for it to be done. Okay? There's room for it to be done. It's called groundbreaking. That's what it's called. Okay? I could not live my life like that. Oh, that ain't never been done before. I won't try it. No. Charters are amended, charters, and that's what you elected your state representatives for. And so you're telling, some people are saying to people who have complained to their state representatives, there's no need to make these changes at the state level. You don't have a right to go to your state representative and complain or ask for changes to be made. Because why? Someone give me a good reason why these amendments would not be beneficial to establish order and having making sure that there are consequences in place when government leaders have forgotten what the charter says and they go rogue and they continue doing what the charter says. They do what they want to do. Why wouldn't we want something in place? All right, here we go. So let me read some of your comments. I got so off on that, but y'all, that was like 5 pages of notes. Woo, Sam, y'all are going in. Let's see if I can catch up. There's 120 comments. I don't know if I'll get to them all. Oh boy. Yes, Demita, it is sickening to come to a meeting and just hear proclamation. Demita says the first business should have been police and fire. I'm in agreement with that. We can be our own worst nightmare. Couldn't agree more. Audrey Bryant, who can tell? Okay, so wait. I'm trying to get caught up. Why can't we just keep that seal? I don't know, Demita, what you were saying. Audrey says, who can we tell? The traffic on Fairburn Road is too fast and too many pedestrians and elderly live there. For there to be no crosswalks. Okay, so Audrey, which part of Fairburn Road are you speaking of? Fairburn and Camp Creek or Fairburn? Because that I don't know which Fairburn you're speaking of. It may be the city of Atlanta, but clarify that for me and I'll see if I can answer it. So Sam says government leaders for City of South Fulton could team up with College Park, East Point, local developers to create a competitive bid offer of large trucks and land, MARTA station logistics, and more. See my Facebook and Nextdoor posts for more details. Okay. Whoa, I forgot to tell y'all something. Oh, speaking of collaboration, did you all know about Connect South Fulton? This was mentioned last night as well at Helen's town hall meeting. And there's already collaboration, Sam. It is Connect South Fulton. Our mission is ATL's gateway to opportunity. The mission says it's our mission to promote the cities of South Fulton as distinctive communities that attract global investment by cooperating to cultivate a thriving, expanding business community and prosperous quality of life. Sam, this is already passed by our city council. This is already passed. This is something that's already in the works. Ask your city council rep about it. But it is a regional approach to having effective economic development. And so right now we do only have one person in economic development. It's gonna take time to develop a plan for the new city of South Fulton. But I found this to be really, this was really a good statement by Helen. We can't have a seat at the table when we can't even be on the menu. Oh, I love that. I love that. So this was designed to help everyone to be successful. And these are the cities in South Fulton. So if you can see that, Chattahoochee Hills, College Park, East Point, Fairburn, Hateville, Palmetto, South Fulton, and Union City. So they have certain goals. The first goal is business development, encourage business recruitment, retention, and expansion in the 8 cities. Goal number 2, government relations, collaborating to enhance government relations by conducting periodic update meetings with municipalities, county DAFC, Development Authority of Fulton County, and technical colleges, and provide ongoing feedback on legislation that impacts economic development. Third goal is marketing. Create a marketable, unified brand for the 8 cities of South Fulton. This is so good. If you guys haven't gotten this from your city council person, see them. I got this from Helen last night. There's already something like, I guess what you're mentioning, in the works, Sam, and it had already passed. And there appears to be some work already being done from a collaboration perspective. So that's already, okay, so you already knew about this, Sam? Well, I just thought I'd mention it. I got so much information last night. I tried to toss as much out to you as I could. Yes, Demita, I think the seal we have is fine too. I don't see anything wrong with that seal. Because I feel like if we use it, if we use what we have, we can move on and start making other plans and preparations. Alvin says, good idea, Sam. Sam, did you go? Oh, you guys are talking to each other. Good idea, Sam. The only one that would be up to this is the city manager of College Park. He's progressive. So Audrey says Fairburn near the Sun Trust. I don't know. Fairburn. Oh, so that is City of Atlanta. Okay, got it. Oh wait, no, it's not. No, it's not. That is the city of South Fulton, and that would be District 1. So I would say you would, if you live in District 1, you'd want to reach out to Catherine Rowell. And those are the type things that ordinances, possibly policies could be created for. She could possibly work with Public Works or code enforcement. I'm not sure. Lord knows I don't have all the answers, but I would start with the city council member for that area. And if you're talking Fairburn and SunTrust, Audrey, where Mulan's is, then that's D1. All right. Yeah, so can you get one of these flyers? I will be more than happy to scan this in and email it to you, Pamela. Mia, what do you mean? Helen, Demetra says, Helen, you're doing such a great job. I thought you were going to be the one that did. Listen, what? Not Helen. I want to say keep on doing what we fought for. That's really nice. But Helen is a pit bull in a skirt. I must give her that. So Sam said, I was highlighting it and want all the city of South Fulton leaders to focus on it as one of the largest South Fulton cities. We should be driving that discussion. I agree with you, Sam, and I think that they are driving the discussion. I do think that that's a question to pose with your city council person, because I got this from Helen, and this is the first time I heard of it. Like, I don't go to all the meetings, but that was the first time I heard of it. And it's positive. Like, this is good, positive stuff. Connect South Fulton is positive. We should hear more of that. So, hey, you guys, it is 10:05. I appreciate you guys for hanging out. I hope, how helpful was this? Yes, Mia, get the flyer. Ask your city council person for this flyer. Hey, Isha, thank you for sharing, Daphne. There are plenty of us who don't know. Keep it going. I'm trying to, y'all, I wish y'all could see my desk, but I've got papers everywhere. And I try to break things down so I don't just read everything off the paper. Because I'm just trying to compile everything that Helen knows. And what I got from her meeting last night, I gave you guys a tip of the iceberg. Okay, so Audrey, yes, that is D1, as Helen said. And so I would get with Catherine Rowell about that. That's a very good point. And perhaps it hasn't been brought to her attention. And this is why I stress that no concern should be too small or too large for your city council person. Reach out to them. They want to hear from you. At least that's what some of them have said. And I haven't spoken to all of them, but the ones that I have spoken to, they want to hear from you. And here's the thing. What I will tell you, what I've learned about some people on Facebook is they sit on Facebook, they complain all day. They post things. It's almost like they plant these, I'm going to plant this in here and see how you guys react. They don't show up at the meetings, but they sit behind the computers and they type. They complain. Let me tell y'all, nothing gets done that way. Everything that you can imagine when we did Slider Crimes was done from this iPhone. And I'm talking from emails to phone calls. Even now, with working with the city council person in East Point for the marketplace issues that we've been experiencing, This is how I get so much done, Pamela, and don't really need a lot of sleep because it's so easy to email. It's so easy to make phone calls. It's so easy to record minutes. It's easy to record myself notes and come back and articulate that and actually copy that into an email. So there's so much technology out here to help us to be sufficient and proficient and efficient that there's no excuses, in my opinion. At least that's what I used to tell the team on the high crimes team, is that we're going to get it done. What's the person's name to contact? Okay, hold on, because Helen passed this out last night. Let me see if I kept a copy of it. And if I didn't, I'll post it. So Helen, if you have it, I don't think I kept a copy of, oh wait, I do have it. Okay, you ready? I'm going to show you right here, right now. Can you guys see this? Some of your names are on here. Hey, some of your names on here. So, Mr. Alvin, wait, no, is this you, Alvin? Let me find Alvin's name. Find out he's on a board and he didn't tell me. I can't find Alvin's name. Alvin, if you're in here, are you on a board and you didn't tell us? Interesting. But I do see that Pamela Harvey's, she's on the City Planning Commission along with a few others from, no, that's Alvin Jackson. I'm sorry, Alvin. All right, so city council members. Helen had a sheet. I'll post it for you, Audrey. I'll be sure to give it to you. And if there's anyone else that can give her Catherine's email and phone number, I would appreciate it because I cannot find it. And great live show tonight. Thank you, Pamela. It's late. I know it is. Had to go to my son's football game. I have no idea the outcome of the game. I had to leave a little early. Yes, get the flyer. You can get all this information. Let me tell you guys something else. The people that work at the city council, or at the not the city council, I'm sorry. The people that work for the city, they work for you. Don't hesitate to call them. If you have a question about what are we doing in the purchasing department, there's only one person, she's just been hired in the purchasing department. I mean, I don't want you to flood people, but I'm just saying they work for you. They are working on your tax dollars. So don't take my word and so-and-so's word. Don't take anyone else's word for what you think is occurring and happening. You should call and reach out to some of these people. Shayla Reed, if I'm not mistaken, she has just been hired as director of planning. Honey, that woman is a ball of fire and information. She is a true asset to the new city. And she was in attendance on last night. Helen had representation from all the department heads, and she had them all present, and she gave her constituents time to ask questions, and then she followed up at the meeting with answers. I mean, hands down, one of the best town halls I've attended. And so I encourage you all to attend your town hall meetings. I know there's some coming up. They may be posted in the group. Attend your town hall meetings. Go with questions. Email those questions beforehand to see if you're going to get the answers that you're seeking. And I'm going to end it on this. Demita says the bottom line is we have to come together. Demita, that's true. We do. We have to come together. And Pamela says, and this is for all of you, go get a glass of wine and get some rest. Hey, tomorrow is an off day for some of you. I do plan to get some rest, Pamela. I would love to hear your feedback about, I'm sorry, trying to clean up my desk, about tonight, and let me know your thoughts. Was it helpful? You don't have to tell me how you feel about the amendments to the charter. Please send those comments to State Representative Roger Bruce. And either way, it's going to be pushed in the at the legislators' level when it's in session in January. But he wants your feedback, and so there's 3 months to do it. All right. So I haven't read all the comments. I'm sure I missed someone. Sam says, we just all need to keep talking to the mayor and council members. Call me naive, but all of them love the city. We have to push for collaboration. I agree. Oh, Helen, thank you. Audrey, Helen just gave you Mayor Pro Tem Catherine's contact information. Thank you, Helen. Thank you for hanging in here with us. And, oh, you're still with me, Chief Daniel. McDaniels. Alvin says, congrats to Shayla. Yes, Shayla is bringing that girl has a lot of knowledge. She's worked with the Fulton County before, went to City of Atlanta. She is really doing an amazing, amazing job already. She even had some literature passed out for last night as well. Audrey says, thank you, Helen. And the Jordan Report is ending, you guys. I will be back. Let me give you the schedule for this month. All right, so the 11th, I will be interviewing Chris Jones, the HOA president, with Cook's Landing. Okay, they're doing so many good things. I know you heard from Charlene Parks before, but you want to be tune in on that Facebook Live on the 11th. And then on the 22nd, I haven't posted this yet, but my Women's Gun Club, in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we are honoring, and we will have Christy Tucker Sims. She actually wrote this book called Yellow Tulips on a Cloudy Day. It's a survivor's journal. She's from Atlanta. She did go to the Frederick Douglass High School. She was homecoming queen. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman. She's a counselor, was in a relationship, and her boyfriend doused her with sulfuric acid, completely disfigured her. She was in a coma for some time, and the Yellow Tulips, that's her squad. She calls us her squad. So she chose several ladies to be around her, be support for her. I'm one of her Yellow Tulips. And so my gun club meeting is on every fourth Sunday. It is open to the public, but new shooters will not be able to shoot that day, of course, because I won't have the opportunity to instruct you on that day. But she's going to come out and tell us her story. She will have these books available for you to purchase. The book sales help Christy to support herself. So I am asking each of you that's still here with me to please support my friend. She is a local native. She was one of the first to have an acid attack in the state of Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, and survive it. And her story is incredible. You have to read this. It's a great story for everyone to read. And this is Christy. You can go to her website, courageouschristy.com. She is very courageous. You can purchase her books from there and make a donation. We will also hear from one of our own well-armed women members who was recently a victim of domestic violence. She is prepared to tell us her story. I'm so proud of her. So you have to come out. So you can meet Christy, and you can meet one of the women that I've known for quite some time, and you just don't ever know how these things will pop off. You never know what people are going through, and she survived. So she's going to tell her story as well. Those are the things that are happening in October from my perspective. Last thing is on October 29th, I am having the new to firearms class. It is completely almost full. You guys only have a few more days to enroll if you want to if you choose to do so. I'll be posting that information later. Oh, how did I forget? On the 17th, there was a lot of talk about this. I have helped coordinate a meeting with McDaniels Brothers attorney. Her name is Adeline Alexander. She is or was their defense attorney. She will be coming to the Kingdom of God International Ministry that is located off of. You've read the story, Sam? Wait, Sam, you have read Christy's story? I knew that's why I liked you. So anyway, yes, this is a very good read. Please buy it. Please support my friend. But yeah, so on the 17th, let's go over these dates one more time. On the 11th, I'm doing a Facebook Live at Cook's Landing with the phenomenal Chris Jones, the HOA president. He's going to share some crime prevention tips. On the 17th, we are going to hear from Adeline Alexander, the defense attorney for the McDaniel brothers. Those are the two brothers. They are now incarcerated. They are serving 15 years for killing Anthony Brooks. She's going to give us a different perspective. There's been a lot of talk about it, so I'm not talking any more about it. You just need to show up to hear more about it on the 17th at 6:30. I have posted that as an event in this group. And then on the 22nd, Mia said she's planning to attend. I hope to see you there, Mia. We are honoring domestic violence victims One is Christy Sims. She's wrote this book. She's a good friend of mine. Yes, she went to the Frederick Douglass High School, which as did I. And she will be on hand to share her story. She's actually a counselor. So think about that. She has counseled women on domestic violence and other things, and it unfortunately happened to her. So I think this will inspire a lot of women. And it is during the time that we normally meet at Starters. It's going to be at the gun range. And again, if you are new to shooting, then we do plan on our practice shooting that day. I won't have new instruction again until October 29th. And that is the new to firearms class at Starters as well. I'll be posting the events for the latter part of October, probably over the weekend. So with that being said, thank you, Helen, for allowing me to attend your meeting yesterday. It was so, that was such a great meeting. Sam says, Helen, thanks for staying focused as you told me you would from day one. Yes, Mia, Doug in the house. This is a national domestic violence month. It is. And you've also posted. Yeah, thank you, Mia. Mia Miller is having she's marvelous, celebrating survivors and raising awareness at the Sandtown Pub on October 21st. Hope you guys come out and plan to attend. I love the Sandtown Pub that is in District 1. I will be there. Thank you, Michael. I will see you guys next week and have a phenomenal weekend. If I don't talk to you again, be safe. Have a personal safety strategy when you're out, and I will chat with you guys next week. Have a wonderful evening.